Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. First of all, we'll talk about Field Marshal Asim Munir's new launch. Yes, he has now officially tried to present himself as Pakistan's head of state and to position himself for the next 10 years. Now, whether he will remain head of state for the next 10 years, whether he will even be able to become head of state, that is another debate for another time. We'll discuss what I think, what you think, but right now let's focus on this launch that he has more or less officially carried out. This launch could have been carried out by DG ISPR, by Maryam Nawaz, by Shahbaz Sharif, or most importantly, by Nawaz Sharif himself. Nobody was stopping them. Even Mohsin Naqvi could have done it. Everyone would have been ready to do it for him, but he didn't trust anyone. He decided to step forward himself and do it. And the place he chose for this launch was Europe, specifically Belgium, Brussels, and of course, some medium is needed. Either he could have addressed the nation, but I think he does not trust his own oratory or writing skills very much. And rightly so, his estimation is correct. His speeches, with all due respect, are terrible. They are not inspiring at all, let alone inspiring, they are not even effective. But he has certainly learned from Yahya Khan, Ayub Khan, Zia-ul-Haq. He learned that in every era there are always some friendly journalists available. These journalists advise dictators, carry out their launches, even swear oaths on the Quran and on God in their support, and then sell the people snake oil, making them believe this man is their savior. This is not happening for the first time. The past is full of such examples. In fact, many senior journalist friends, elders who are still alive today, may Allah grant them long life, publicly admit that it was they who advised Zia-ul-Haq not to hold elections, assuring him they would take care of everything else. Indirectly, they admit their share in Bhutto's execution. Why? Because in Pakistan, no one is ever held accountable, neither publicly nor legally. Publicly, we are an emotional nation. We erase a person's importance to zero, and we quickly forget sins without accountability and move on. That is why the mistakes of journalists, of politicians, and above all of generals repeat across generations. One general makes a mistake, the next one does worse, and the next one even worse. Because nobody is ever held accountable. So, in this era, Field Marshal Asim Munir chose Suhail Warich. He felt that Warich's pen, his column, had enough weight to effectively present the ideas the general wanted to convey in his launch. So what was said? Let's listen first, then analyze a bit. But remember, don't think we are giving Suhail Warich's column so much importance that we've made it our first news item. No, this isn't about Warich's column. The real story is that the Field Marshal is launching himself. Through this column, you will get a sense of what's in his bag now, what he wants to sell, what he considers his comparative strengths. You'll also know what he plans to do in the coming year and how many options he really has. Because many of you think he is now very confident that he has taken control of everything, and now he's secure. I'll put the facts before you, and you will see for yourself that nothing is secure. Take SIFC, the Special Investment Facilitation Council, which was his branch oil, his atom bomb, his biggest weapon. Through it he went to UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, asking for $200 billion. But the louder message everyone remembers was $100 billion, $25 billion each from 4 countries. All 4 said no. We are quoting here a PMLN minister who told a very senior journalist just 2 weeks ago, the UAE has officially said they will not invest anything new in Pakistan. At most, they might reschedule the $1 billion loan already given, and Pakistan can just reuse that. So what was the result of that $100 billion? Nothing. Zero. In Hindi they say shunya, in German they say null. And what was the result? Null. Let's move on. He had also promised to bring in $1,000 billion in foreign investment. That too collapsed. Remember that guy connected with car washes? He was supposed to be part of it, but even he was thrown out of the Brussels event. He wasn't even invited, not included in the planning. To save face, the poor man went off to Denmark around that time because he had been made irrelevant, used like a tissue paper and thrown away. So what about that $1,000 billion? Nothing. Then there was talk of bringing in crypto and AI data centers. That too collapsed. The son-in-law of a corps commander, Peshawar, Bilal bin Saqib, according to Astor Sahib, that project also went nowhere. And the reality today? Investment in Pakistan is at its lowest level in history. And when I say history, I mean in Pakistan's history. Inflation is at the highest level. Globally, petrol prices are low, but in Pakistan, petrol is at its highest ever. Unemployment? In Imran Khan's time, unemployment was at 6.5%. Today, 11.5 crore people are below the poverty line. Half the population, according to Dr. Hafiz Pasha, not me. What does living below the poverty line mean? It means you know where your next one meal is coming from, but you have no idea where the next meal after that will come from. Today, unemployment is 22%. In Imran Khan's time, it was 6.5%. And what has Field Marshal promised? That in 5 to 10 years, he'll make us like France, Germany, UK, USA, Australia, New Zealand, but in just 3 years under his watch. Pakistan has taken more loans than in the past 75 years combined, the most expensive loans ever. GDP is below 2%. Large-scale manufacturing and agriculture are destroyed. I don't need to explain the numbers. You all know. Ask any farmer about the last 5 to 6 crop seasons. If I'm lying, I'll apologize. Just call any farmer in your village if you live abroad. If he doesn't curse 2 long lines of abuses, then I'll accept I was wrong. According to experts, Pakistan now requires about $30 billion every year just to manage its debts and deficits. $30 billion annually. And this will only keep increasing because of the rising burden of interest on the massive loans already taken. Yet the gentleman Field Marshal is saying that from Reko Dik he will earn $2 billion annually and run Pakistan with that. The question is, what about the remaining $28 billion? How will you transform Pakistan into France, Britain or Germany with just $2 billion? It doesn't add up. You need $30 billion annually. You claim $2 billion will come from Reko Dik. And even that figure has its own reality, which we will explain. Meanwhile, terrorism and security threats are at their peak. In terrorism, Pakistan is now ranked number 2 in the world after Burkina Faso. In terms of overall security risk, Pakistan is ranked number 1 globally. We've shared those security rankings with you before. It's not new. Economist Dr. Kaiser Bengali, one of Pakistan's most respected, says, "For the last 20 years, the country has been running only on illusions. Whether it was CPEC or the Green Initiative or dreams of oil, dreams of minerals or now Reko Dik, he's absolutely correct." Now let's look at the reality of the Reko Dik project. As I told you, Pakistan needs $30 billion annually to manage debt and deficits, while the Field Marshal is fantasizing about running the country on just $2 billion. It's like someone in a village smoking a pipe and then declaring, "I am an airplane, I will fly in the skies and I'll take you with me too." Unless you smoke the same pipe, you won't understand this fantasy. But let's look at the actual facts about the $2 billion. Field Marshal said, Reko Dik is Pakistan's economic backbone. He claims Pakistan will earn $2 billion profit from it annually. But the cabinet itself has valued the total worth of the entire Reko Dik project at $3.6 billion. How? Here's the evidence. Pakistan sold 15% of Reko Dik, around 1/6 of the project, to Saudi Arabia for only $540 million, about $500 million. If 15% is worth $540 million, then 100% comes to about $3.6 billion. So on one hand he says the whole thing is worth $3.6 billion, and yet he claims it will generate $2 billion per year for 10 years. For that to be true, a $3.6 billion asset would need to yield $20 billion over a decade. This is fantasy. So this last hope is not based on reality. SIFC failed, crypto failed, AI projects failed, green initiatives failed, all collapsed. Now only Reko Dik remains, and that too has been mishandled by Pakistan. Remember, Pakistan had already faced an $11 billion fine over Reko Dik in international arbitration. You might ask, but didn't you just say the project is worth $3.6 billion? How come the fine was $11 billion? The answer is, in international courts, claims are based on projected losses, what investors argue they would have earned. That's why the penalty was much higher. It was Imran Khan's government that renegotiated, removed the fine and revived the project. So the very last hope the general is clinging to is actually the work done by Imran Khan. At this point, journalist Suhail Warich should have asked, will you give Imran Khan credit for this? But of course he didn't, because tough questions are not asked in such launch interviews. The task was not journalism, the task was relaunching. Now, consider the second side of the Reko Dik story. The general says Pakistan will earn $2 billion annually from it. But look at the ground realities of Balochistan. Internet has been completely shut down for months. Separatists take over entire districts at will. They seize government offices, capture and even kill deputy commissioners. People freely meet them, take selfies with them, chant slogans with them. Travel restrictions are so severe that after sunset, no buses can operate in much of Balochistan. In many areas, not even daytime travel is safe. Almost all government officers posted there keep their families in Islamabad for safety. These ground realities are even harsher than what I've just described. And yet, Pakistan is expected to earn $2 billion annually from here and run the whole country on it. Mashallah, what logic! Now moving to the political side. Suhail Warich asked Field Marshal, "Do you have any reconciliation plan in politics?" Field Marshal's response shocked me. He recited verses from the Quran. The summary of his interpretation was this: when Allah created mankind, the angels who sought forgiveness from Allah and submitted to him remained angels, but those who did not seek forgiveness were turned into devils, shayateen. The message was clear: Imran Khan must seek forgiveness. If he apologizes, he will remain like an angel. If not, he will be labeled a devil, thrown into jails, punished. Is this not a godlike claim? Deciding who is an angel and who is a devil, I'm not saying it. This is what Suhail Warich wrote in his column. And honestly, it hit me hard. This is nothing less than claiming divine authority. On one side, the Field Marshal is desperate to become head of state for 10 years. On the other, he keeps offering reconciliation. If Imran Khan apologizes, he can walk free, like Nawaz Sharif did. Otherwise, he remains locked in the harshest prisons. Finally, critics raise a point. Those who break the constitution, betray the public mandate, steal the people's vote, and break their oath, taken in God's name, to stay out of politics, are they to be called angels or devils? That's the question Suhail Warich should have asked. But he didn't, because in a royal court journalists don't ask such questions. Then Field Marshal Sahib said, "God has made me the protector of this country. I have no desire for any position. I am a soldier, and my greatest wish is martyrdom. Now, I cannot say whether Allah will fulfill this wish of yours or not, that only Allah knows." But when he said this, I immediately remembered that historic interview of Yahya Khan, which still circulates even today. Yahya Khan used to say the very same things in exactly the same words. "I am a soldier. I want no position." In fact, Yahya Khan went even further. He said, "I know East Pakistan as well as you know the back of your hand. In fact, I know it even better than the people of East Pakistan know themselves." This was also a kind of divine pretension, and yet, what happened? He did not even know what was really going on there. Now listen carefully. The exact same words Yahya Khan once uttered are the same words Field Marshal Sahib has repeated today. Whether they come from Yahya's mouth or from Suhail Warich's pen, the words are identical. May Allah protect us. Then he said again, "I have nothing to do with politics." But look at the contradictions. If he has no interest in any position, if he is merely a soldier bound by oath not to involve himself in politics, then why is he setting conditions? If so-and-so apologizes, then I will do this or that. That's not a soldier's role. That is politics. Next, he said, General Asim Munir stays away from arrogance. Mashallah, look how well Suhail Warich understands the general's inner qualities. He even gave it a religious touch, saying overseas Pakistanis kissed his hands after he defeated a non-Muslim country while representing a Muslim country. Now think, Suhail Warich, who all his life called himself a progressive journalist, suddenly became a preacher. Normally he criticizes the use of religion in politics, yet here he himself is using it, suddenly turning into a cleric-style journalist. Because when needed, everything is sold, everything is packaged for effect. Warich wrote that in Pakistan, Asim Munir is humble and free of arrogance, yet abroad he allowed people to kiss his hands. Notice he did not write that the general stopped them, only that they kissed his hands, right after claiming he is not arrogant. He also wrote that the general repeatedly praised Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif's hard work. From this, two things are clear. If a dictator praises someone again and again, that person should prepare himself, because it means something is about to happen. If he's truly so popular that people line up to kiss his hands, then why break his oath? Why not simply retire, contest elections, and prove his popularity directly among the people? If he is really that loved, there should be no issue. Let the truth come out in public. Now let's consider his popularity. In just the past 6 months, around 400,000 educated Pakistanis have left the country. That is the real measure of progress under him. He says he doesn't want any position, yet in the same breath says, if the nation insists, then instead of 3 years, I'm willing to stay 10 years. And maybe I won't even take salary for the extra 7 years. What a generosity. Let's conclude. Remember, the very words Field Marshal used today were also used by Yahya Khan, who boasted of knowing East Pakistan better than its people, yet was blind to the reality that led to Pakistan's breakup. Now, Suhail Warich is not the first Pakistani journalist to play such a role. There were others before him. For example, Altaf Hussein Qureshi, may Allah forgive him, when he interviewed General Zia, wrote that Zia-ul-Haq was a model of humility. This, the same Zia who hanged Bhutto. And just before East Pakistan became Bangladesh, Qureshi wrote after visiting the region that the love of East Pakistanis for West Pakistan flows like the water of Zamzam. Within days, Pakistan was split in two. Another senior journalist even admitted that they told Zia-ul-Haq, "There's no need to hold elections, we'll manage everything." So Suhail Warich is not doing anything new. Many journalists in Pakistan have acted as companions to dictators, selling their narratives and trying to market them as saviors. Suhail Warich is simply doing the same today. And yet in his column he wrote, "This was the first example of an open and transparent dialogue between an ordinary journalist and a field marshal. Let the public judge whether this was really open and transparent. Was it truly rough, direct questioning? Did the journalist ask the hard questions about elections in 90 days, about rule of law, about what happened to Imran Khan, his colleagues, his wife, the rigged Form 47, the February 8th elections, the events of May 9th, the Corps Commander's house in Lahore?" Not one of these questions was asked, though they should have been. Instead, it was presented as a brave and transparent exchange. Finally, Field Marshal Sahib addressed the rumours of change. He said, "These rumours are absolutely false. They are not coming from civil or military agencies, but from political elements opposed to the government and establishment, trying to spread chaos." At the same time, Suhail Warich claimed that the general has a complete roadmap for economic revival, and he repeated that the general said he has nothing to do with politics, even as he commented extensively on politics. And that's how it concluded, with the claim that the general has studied the world and that he has a vision for the future. Keep in mind, this conversation was not between people with any background in economics. On one side was a journalist whose career has mostly been spent interviewing TV actresses and talking about their private lives, and on the other side was a man whose sole qualification is that he graduated from the Pakistan Military Academy. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.